Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, fellow Fox fans. I'm not going to ask how we are. As you can see, I am dressed suitably for the occasion. How are we feeling? The day after the night before. It's Monday nights. It's Monday nights on Sky. I don't know if anybody of a certain age here will remember when we had Martin O'Neill as a manager. We can never win on telly. We can never win. I mean, I don't know what to say about last night. I really don't. What I will say is, though, you are watching Leicester Till I Die TV. We are on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group. We're on the Twitter sphere at Leicester TID. And we are on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you're not watching on YouTube, or if you are, please nip over, twiddle me knobs, push me buttons, and get me subscriptions going. I would love you forever and ever and ever. Do you know what? 36 years ago last night, a certain Mr. Walsh made his debut for Leicester City. Fucking hell, we could have done with him last night.
The Premier League is back and we've got it all covered here on Leicester Till I Die TV. Subscribe.
Well, it is back, unfortunately. Richard, good evening. How are you? What are your thoughts on? I'm still drunk. I drank myself into a slumber last night. Let us know what your thoughts are on the game. What went wrong? What went right? That will take you about 2 seconds. It was. I've got to be careful I don't swear here because I've got a guest coming on in a moment, and he's should we say of a certain age, but he never said that. He probably knows more swear words than me. Talking of swear words, does this kind of sum up?
Be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
I can't. He can. One happy hammer. Let's say good evening to Jake. Good evening, Jake. You look like you got a huge smile on your face.
Oh, it has not left my face since last night. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's gloss over that. You know, I mean, you hammered us. But before we start, give a shout out. How can people find you? Because you do have your own channel.
Yeah. West Ham Unofficial on YouTube site. Type it into the search bar. You will find it. Chris came on the preview a couple of nights ago, all confident, and he thought it was going to be 1, 2, 3, 1. Well, I'm saying it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to the Hammers.
Just remember that I've got control here and I can mute you at any particular point. I mean,
I couldn't help myself, but that's it. That's that done now. Serious talk.
no, in fact, I mean, enjoy it. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I said on your show, you know, I sort of see, still don't see Leicester as sort of a huge club. I still see us as in that second tier along with teams like yourself. But you deserved it last night. You literally, and I think I said before when we chatted before we came live, I was looking at your post-match show last night, and that hurt. But you know, people were saying you out-Leicestered Leicester. You were hungry. You were there. You were first to every ball, and you were second. You know, you were getting the second balls as well. You know, we couldn't have, you know, passed our way out of a paper bag last night. You must have been well pleased with that performance.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd say from minute 15 to minute 90, I thought we were exceptional last night. I thought the first 15 minutes we were slightly a little bit sloppy, misplacing passes. But the one thing that really did surprise me, Chris, was the amount of times that Amate and Soyuncu passed it between themselves for like 90-second periods. And I'm like, I'm happy for them to sit here and do this because they're not doing anything. They're just back and forth, and then back to the keeper and then try and lump it long.
And yeah, you've basically hit the nail on the head there because it, excuse my French here, pisses me off big style because that's how Brendan wants to play. He wants to play out from the back. And as Leicester fans, we kind of prefer to hoof it up the field. And if you're going to lose the ball, lose it in your half rather than sort of, you know, in our back box. So Inchu thinks he's Brazilian. He tries to do all these fancy turns. And Marty, I think he just thinks he's the football player sometimes, and he fails on that. But you see, you're very young. You're very young, but I grew up watching Liverpool in the 70s and early 80s, which were basically they were the Man City of the day or the Man United of the day before they were, and that's how they used to play. You know, they used to hold on to the ball. Even if they were 1-0 down, they would hold on to the ball, just waiting for the chance to sort of break away. Fortunately, we were holding on to the ball, passing it around, and we did nothing with it. You know, you like I said, out Leicester. You were hitting us on the break. You know, we couldn't have broken a chocolate bar last night if we tried. And it's nothing, you know, nothing against your, you know, performance because you didn't let us, you know, and that's you know, I think in the first half we had something like like say 20 minutes or so, we had something like just short of 80% possession. Yeah. But we'd done F all with it, you know, and that's the annoying thing. And we just have a look at a few comments here. Renee says, yeah, disappointed. That's one word. I can think of quite a few that are stronger, Renee. Terry, good evening. Now, let's be honest, we just let them know what it's like to score 4 goals in one game. They quite like scoring a lot of goals against us.
Oh, we did it last week as well. We did it against Newcastle last week. 8 goals scored in 2 games.
Yeah, it is top of the table form. And let's not forget last season, and we'll come on to that later, you put 6 past us. Perez was a shame on the red card. Richard, Chris, I felt your defence has killed the game for you passing sideways consistently, which is what Jake said a minute ago. Rene, yes, Perez was S, wasn't he? I mean, let's come on to that because there was a lot of discussion between Leicester fans, certainly on the telly, if you're watching. Did you go, by the way, or did you?
I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there. No,
you watched it on telly, but I mean, let me just bring this up. To me, and when I look at a red card, the way I judge it is if it was the other way around. So if it had been one of your guys on one of, you know, Perez or one of our players, would I be screaming for a red card? And I am sorry, whether there is intent or not, that to me was a red card. He could have broken his leg there. I don't know what your thoughts on it were.
Well, it was quite a sequence downstairs in the living room because I saw it at first and he was holding his leg and I thought, oh, just get up for now. And then they showed the first angle and I thought, yeah, there isn't much in that. And then they showed the angle where you could see clearly both of the legs. And the commentator said, I completely backtrack everything I've just said. That's a red card. That's horrific. Yeah. And I agree. The way, and as you just said, he could have potentially broke his leg there, and that could have been the end of his career. Like we've seen with many players. Just looking at that, studs up, it's quite high, and yeah, it is a red card all day long, in my opinion. If that would have went against me, I wouldn't have complained. But to be honest with you, he was probably, for the 40 minutes he was on the pitch, Perez was your most ineffective player, I thought. But
you you want him because he's
no. 30 million you paid for him, didn't you?
Yeah, all right, move on. For 38 games last season, he was our most ineffective player on the pitch. Believe you me, he's one of those players, you know, and every team's had them where you wonder what he holds on the manager, because the manager picks them week in, week out, but he's just, he just couldn't justify why he's being picked. Rodgers obviously sees something in him. I know when he bought him, it was a case of that he thought that Perez would sort of, he's the first line of defense, if you like. He would sort of break it up before it got out. But yeah, he's, let me just say that was one good thing from last night, that we haven't got Perez now for 3 games. So every cloud, as they say. But I mean, when this team was announced last night, and I looked at that, and unfortunately, typical Leicester there, when we do our graphics, we decided to use Perez as the player there. But you know, apart from Amati, that is probably the team starting lineup that Brendan would put in, week out. Four at the back, Tillemans and Ndidi midfield, Perez and Barnes outside, with Maddison playing just off Vardy. Vardy had the least number of touches, you know, and if you're not going to have give your main striker touches, he's not going to score a goal.
I think they put a graphic up. I think it was like halfway through the first half, how Soyuncu had like 69 touches the ball and Vardy had had 1 in like half an hour, and I thought that pretty much sums most of it up for Leicester. I thought, in terms of Vardy, I thought he was invisible. I mean, just the amount of touches he had sums it up as well. If I was Brendan Rodgers, I would have brought Daka on earlier. In my opinion, I thought he didn't look fantastic, but he looks better than Vardy. And my dad said that is this the season that, you know, Jamie Vardy slowly goes downhill, and he fizzles his way out of the starting lineup, especially with Daka right on his back. Yeah,
I mean, the substitutes were made very late, I've got to be honest with you. I mean, excuse me, the whole thing reminded me of our 9-0 against Southampton, is the fact that there was a foul on Perez, pretty similar to the foul yesterday, but it was on Perez by Bertrand, who we've now gone and bought, and that he got sent off for that. You're down to 10 men, and I don't understand. We're 1-0 down, we're down to 10 men, and yet you don't make any substitutions at half time.
I thought that as well, yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be.
To me, it shouted no plan B, to be honest with you. He thought, I'm just gonna let them do it, and then I'm gonna make substitutions later. It shouted no plan B, and he's just gonna let it happen in front of him, personally.
Yeah. The guy says here what you were saying, love watching Vardy play. Is this a season too far? I mean, the thing with Vardy is you've got to get the ball to him. And how often do we see that? You know, people said about Kane as well in the Euros. If you're not getting the ball to the strikers, they're not going to score. They're going to maybe come deeper and try and get it. Cheers, Richard. You're a good man. And you know, you see, he doesn't play. He's there, and you've got to give him one chance, but he's got to wait for that chance, and he's waiting. But you say he wasn't getting the touches. But this is the thing with Leicester this season, is we've always got that sort of game in us. You could put that same 11 out against, you know, Norwich at the weekend, and we could go out and turn them over 4 or 5-0. And then we've got a performance like this. What I thought, though, was, and I was maybe a bit flippant towards West Ham, and I, you know, my waist is getting rather bigger and bigger all the humble pie I'm eating. But I did mention that last season I thought possibly you were punching above your weight. You hadn't got Lingard, you hadn't gone out and signed him, and he made a big difference to you. But who needs him?
We do still need him, though, in my opinion. We do still need him. As much as that was fantastic last night, there's no way we can. This is what we've got. And when I looked at two of the starting lineups together, I thought we probably level on paper. But then when you look at the subs bench, you've got Daka, you've got Ian Atcher to bring off the bench. We've got Andrei Yarmolenko, who personally for me and most West Ham fans think is a donkey. A bit like Jose Perez, you think he is, but
yeah. No, he can't be as bad as Jose Perez, I'll tell you.
Oh, yes.
Actually, when you think that the highlight for us is the fact that he will be out for for 3 games. Rene's still mad. Calm down, Rene. Calm down. It's only a game. This is the problem. If I was an Arsenal fan now, I'd be chucking myself off my balcony. But we've got to remember it is only 2 games into the season, and like I say, this is Leicester. We have got this performance in us. And look at last season. I don't want to do this, but all credit to you, you guys. Last season, you did us 3-2 in the last game, as you remember. You were holding on at the end, but we shouldn't have been 3-0 down. But you got us 3-0 in the first game as well. You 6 goals against us last season. Is Moyes turning you into possibly the next Leicester City?
100%. I think, obviously, when a game like that happens and when the performance was that high, obviously there's a lot of West Ham fans that got overexcited. Oh, I was quite excited last night. I can't lie on the match review.
No, I think you were. I think I noticed that.
But
how did it go? How did it go, by the way, Jake? We are top of the league.
We are top of the league. God, that's brilliant. See, you watched that bit. It was brilliant. But I just think if we can, and James on the match review said, I think if we can, get anywhere near that what we got to last night, we're going to win something this season. And I think we are going to go under the radar again. And you still see, I like Gary Neville. I think he's the better 2 out of him and Jamie Carragher, but he still goes on before and says Declan Rice is better as a centre-back. And then Jamie Carragher winds him up after by saying, do you still not like Declan Rice? The pundits, the media, and like they did in 2015, 2016 with you, they underestimated us. They underestimated us last season as well. Yeah. I think if we can get up to that calibre, yes, we know we've got no squad depth. We're relying on our front 4 nows, Benrahma, Antonio, and Bowen. If any one of those get injured, we're not in a good place, especially if Antonio gets injured. But with the positives, if we can pull that out of the bag week in, week out, we will win something this season because we were incredible last night.
I've got, as I say, all credit where credit's due, and as much as it sticks in my throat to say it, you did. David S. here, he says, I do agree it's only 2 games in, but we didn't improve on last week versus Wolves, so aren't we supposed to improve in our next game? On paper, yes, you are. It depends who you've got next game. And I know I'm going to probably regret saying this, but we've got Norwich at the weekend, who have not had the best of start. So fingers crossed, we might be able to get something from that. If it was Man City, obviously I don't know. But the Liverpool, you can look at 2 ways, and this is what I love about football. Wolves we didn't play good against, and had they got their shooting boots on, we may have been looking at 2 losses. But at the end of the season, if we get into the top 4 by 2 points, we could look back and say, that Wolves game, that was the 3 points that got us there. So it swings and roundabouts. It really is. But I'm just looking at the stats last night. You had 19 shots. We had 5. I didn't even think we'd had that many, to be honest with you. You had more shots on target than we had shots. And I know they're only stats and what have you. 10 corners, we didn't get 1.
See, the thing with corners is we were so predominant on scoring headers from my man Craig Dawson, from Angelo Ogbonna. I don't know how Dawson didn't score last night, to be honest with you. He had so many headers that went wide, got saved. I thought he must have had at least 4 or 5 headers that he connected with, but not one went in. Corners, we won. I mean, good balls were going into the box, but we just couldn't convert them. We will convert corners this season, like we did last season, because of the height we've got with Souček, Dawson, Ogbonna. These players, even Declan Rice can get his nut on it. But yeah.
Yeah, Richard says there, they say don't look at the league table till 10 games. And yeah, I can remember when I was sort of Jake's age that football, you wouldn't see a table printed for the first 10 games. But Richard, you're up there, you're top, enjoy it, because I bloody would be, I'd be having it everywhere. And doing,
I have. I've done a show about it today. Magnificent hammers, magnificent masterclass from the hammers.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. Enjoy, because I tell you what, if you were Tottenham, you'd have been having a DVD out by now.
I know there'd be an open top bus. There'd be the lot.
Exactly. Yeah, Rennie's saying Yannick Vestergaard returning for Norwich on Saturday. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's returning for Leicester. But that's me. That's me being facetious. I know what you mean. We missed him.
Who would he come in for? Because Soyuncu on
Marty.
He would come for Marty.
Yeah. Soyuncu had an awful game, and we did a post-match last night. And my post-match I did with a guy called Brad.
Yeah.
And he was scathing about Soyuncu. I mean, I'm just looking here as well. I didn't make many notes, but your second goal. I mean, it was literally the assist almost went to Soyuncu.
Literally, I don't laugh at goals a lot, but I literally sat back, I celebrated, I sat down, and I literally laughed. The way, to be honest with you, I don't think Schmeichel helped out massively with his position. I thought he was out a bit in no man's land, but it was awful. But you've got to give credit, the strength to nip the ball, pass it to Ben Ramawell.
Yes, yeah.
Mikel Antonio.
Antonio is he's a man mountain, isn't he? I actually put, I think halfway through the first half, he could get onto, he could do WWE very easily.
He was incredible last night, and that is the Mikel Antonio that we love, and our West Ham legend. The overtook the record last night. Most Premier League goals for West Ham United.
I wouldn't go too mad about that, because that's only 50. So it's not
49.
Exactly
49.
But all credit where credit's due. Terry says there, as soon as see West Ham up there than Arsenal or Tottenham or Man United or Man City. Totally agree with you. Good evening to Melina, who was there. How you doing, Melina? Hope you're well. I did actually say, and I always have a bit of a laugh on the shows with saying, like, when Leicester play well, I always say it's like watching Brazil. Well, last night, sorry, Melina, I've got to say this. It was like watching Arsenal. We were it was bad. And what annoys me is I'm going to, again, I do a preview show with Craig, and we do a one to watch. And I think I mentioned to you, and Craig said here, our one to watch was Mikel Antonio. And how right was he?
That was probably the best performance we've seen from Mikel Antonio in a long time. It seems very fitting I come on for my first ever opposition review on another channel and we play the best I've ever seen West Ham play. It's just a coincidence, but he was incredible last night. Mikel Antonio, he was everything. The physicality, he was bullying the defenders. Yeah. A lot of West Ham fans last night, this morning, have said it reminded them of Lukaku versus Chelsea, versus Arsenal at the weekend as well. He's a very Lukaku-like player, and he's off to Jamaica international duty quite soon. And I can't lie. I'm not happy. No, I'm not happy. I'm worried. Because we know what his hamstrings are like. I'd rather he wouldn't, but that's his choice.
You got the COVID worry as well.
Yes. Yeah.
when they're travelling. I mean, I was disappointed for Maddison that he didn't make the England squad during the Euros. But I was so glad because he didn't get injured, and at least he had that time to recover. I mean, if Arsenal was still looking at Maddison after last night's performance, they probably got on the phone to Top and went, "Keep him, mate, keep him." Oh
my God! All he did was moan last night. All I saw him doing was moaning to the ref.
Yeah. Next time we'll get 6'6", as in Vestergaard, and we get revenge on West Ham. The thing is with West Ham is, like I say, you managed to beat us twice last season. You have, somebody mentioned this, you are becoming our modern day Crystal Palace, because we could never beat Crystal Palace. But our head-to-head in the Premier League, 28, it's now 14 wins to you. It was 13. You have got that sort of Damocles over us. But I did say before that I never want to say that your performance was only good because we were bad, because you can only play who's in front of you, and you could look the other way, that we were bad because you were so good. But we do a on our post-match show, we do like a rate the players, rate the manager, man of the match. And I think this really, for me, does sum it up. When your goalkeeper is man of the match, and he did make a couple of worldy saves that probably kept it at least respectable, if 4-1 can be respectable. But, the manager 4 out of 10 and the team 3, you've got to look at Leicester and you've got to say after that, would you say that, we're going to be top 5 again?
I mean, the way you look at it, Kasper Schmeichel conceded 4 goals last night and he got man of the match. As you said, that's just summed it up. I think he made a couple of great saves, fantastic saves. But everybody's got an off night. I do believe that was an off night last night. I thought the only player that looked half decent for you last night was Harvey Barnes in the first half. I thought he looked relatively decent, but everyone has an off game, and that was definitely an off game last night. And I think you would agree that that it wasn't great last night for you.
It wasn't. And look, the BBC have a thing on their website where fans can go on and mark the players out of 10 and what have you. Your lowest player, and forgive me if I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Yarmolenko.
Yarmolenko.
Yeah, he got your lowest vote, which was 6.64. Yeah. Leicester's highest vote was Schmeichel with 5.36. So your worst player was better than our best player.
Yarmolenko only came on for about 10 minutes.
Hey, he probably did more in that 10 minutes than most of our players did in the 90. But we have got those performances in us, and that's the worrying thing. But you're like us. You've got, you're fighting on 4 fronts this season. What do you want the priority to be? And people have asked me this an awful lot, so I'm going to throw it back out at you now. Europa League and do well in that, because that would be a great feather in your cap. Or do you concentrate on? And let's be honest, neither of us are probably going to win the league this season, but we want to be looking at top 4. I know you're top now and what have you, but what's your priority, top 4 or Europa League?
It's top 6 in the Premier League, I think. I don't think yes, last night was fantastic, but when you dig deep into it, we've got, as you saw on our bench last night, we had 3 under-23s on our bench last night because we can't fill a bench, and we've usually got 3 goalkeepers on the bench because we can't fill a bench. Yeah. We need to bring players in, but there's a week left of this transfer window. As of today, bang on the dot, I think, and we are at least 4 players short from having our head above the water. Our head is perilously. We are 2 or even 1 injury in the wrong position away from an absolute catastrophe. Two injuries away, and it's not going to be copable if they're in the complete wrong positions. So we need the West Ham board, GSB. We need to get these deals done, because we can't cope with the squad we've got. We can't cope all season with the front 4 we've got, because Mikel Antonio will get injured by Christmas. I can guarantee it. It's his hamstrings. He will get injured by Christmas. But I would like to get top 6. That would be fantastic, and I would like us to have a real go at the Europa League. I'm not really bothered about the Carabao Cup. I'd rather, because of the lack of squad depth, I'd rather us chuck the youngsters in and see what they're made of in those games. If we get far in it, we can not prioritise it, but we can look at it and put some of our first teamers out there. FA Cup, I'd like us to have a real go at the FA Cup. See, this is the thing. I want us to have a real go at the 3 main competitions, which is not viable. So I think David Moyes will go Premier League, I don't know whether he'll go FA Cup or Europa League. I'd like to think he'd go Europa League, but he very much likes the FA Cup. I couldn't tell you whether he's going to go for the FA Cup or the Europa League. Personally, it's a difficult one. I don't know. I would so like to see Mark Noble in his final game for West Ham lift the FA Cup as much as I'd like to see him lift the Europa League. I couldn't tell you which one I prioritise more.
Well, because we won the FA Cup, last season.
Yeah.
Hey,
Tielemans' goal last night. Tielemans' goal last night, and he was invisible again last night.
And you can't compare the two goals. I'm not going to lie, but for us it's Europa League. But I jest, But David Moyes, because I know you didn't want. Well, from what we saw from outside, most West Ham fans didn't want him the first time. You certainly didn't seem to want him the second time when he came back. Is he winning you all over now? Is he the guy that can fit with you?
I've got a feeling he won a lot of fans over. He won a lot of fans over midway through the season, and I'm pretty sure if they're on their right mind and they haven't been drinking something, I do believe that every single West Ham fan out there has went, David Moyes, you are the man. We will eat all of our humble pie, because last December there wasn't a riot, but there was a lot of people that did not want David Moyes, and that's clear. Yeah. And how wrong were we? He came back a second time, and he has done a miracle, and that's the end of it. And every single West Ham fan will and should thank him. And you can see I was at Newcastle away last week, and you saw David Moyes. He was looking up to us at the top. He was giving it to the fans. Get in, come on. You haven't seen that from David Moyes before. You can tell that he's in his element. He loves West Ham. He's there, and the fans just can't thank him enough for what he's done. He took us from relegation to Europa League in a season. What more could you want?
Yeah, and I mean, the first time, in fairness, I think he kept you up, didn't he? Which was it was his thing at the. It was his what he was told to do. Ambitions for this season. We talked before, top six. You need to make some signings. You said that, and we're being linked with some signings because look at our defence last night. Soyuncu can be reliable. He can turn, like I say, he thinks he's Pele sometimes when he's on the ball, but he does occasionally throw that sort of performance into the mix. Bournemouth last season, you guys last night, and Marty, I'm just. He's coming. He's one of those players. He comes on at the end, or he's there to make the squad numbers up, but just for the odd game, not. He had a brilliant game against Man City in the Community Shield, and he's gone back to himself. So we're gonna need possibly another defender. We'll see if Vestergaard comes back or not. But where are you looking to strengthen? And will your board and your owners back David Moyes in this transfer window? Because you have got, like you say, this is the chance now for you guys to take that next step, and we were like this last season and we didn't really do much in the transfer market. This season we have done. We've backed the manager. Fofana got the injury, went and backed him and got Vestergaard in within the week. Your owners have got to back David Moyes now to take that next step. Will they? And if they do, what positions and who do you want to try and get in?
It's two completely different, two polar opposite questions of what I think needs to bring in and what David Sullivan wants to bring in. In my opinion, David Sullivan, all he cares about is saving his pennies. Personally, we need, as I said earlier, we need 4 players to be comfortably filling a bench and have backup if an injury or if we get a couple of injuries happen. Personally, in my opinion, so in this transfer window, we've bought a goalkeeper on loan, Ariel, a fantastic goalkeeper. We sold Sebastian Haller, our striker, on January the 8th. We still have only got one striker at this football club from January the 8th. We need to bring a striker in, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Nothing is happening on the striker front in terms of rumours, in terms of just any movement. And yes, we know David Moyes might be working on something backstage.
Please take Perez.
Oh no. I'm quite all right.
We'll pay you. Honestly, we will pay you. Yeah.
Oh, David Sullivan would love that. David Sullivan would love that. But what I think and what we need is we need a centre back. Zuma, as it says there, Zuma's coming. We're hearing, and it's going to be announced.
That's a good signing. We as a couple of people of Leicester fans, and Craig, one of the presenters, big fan of Zuma, and think we should maybe have got him. But no, hopefully that will come off for you. I'm just wondering if there's any play. Are you still monitoring who Leicester go for and try and go for our signings, because you do seem to do that.
We were looking at Daka for a good
Fafana.
Fafana. Oh, don't start.
How many players have you looked at that sort of, Leicester will go for, we'll try and get them?
I mean, I think we need that centre back that's come in. What we need a centre back. We need a winger / central attacking midfielder to cover for the front four. We need a striker, and we ideally need a left back and a central midfielder as well. I know that's not going to happen. We've got one left back at this football club, and Aaron Creswell went down injured for a couple of minutes last night. And one of the commentators said, West Ham haven't got much squad depth in the left back area. I laughed and said, we haven't got another left back. Aaron Creswell is our only left back. So we desperately need a left back, a central midfielder. We've got Rice, Souček, and as much as I don't like to say it, Mark Noble, which just doesn't. He's okay, but when you take Declan Rice out and put Mark Noble there, he's the
club hero, though, isn't he?
He is the club hero, and he will get the biggest send off any player would ever get for West Ham at Man City at home on the final day of this season as he departs. But he's not European quality, which we're going into this season. As much as West Ham fans don't like to diss him in a way, he's just not. So we need that central midfielder. James, hope you're well. And we need these players. I highly doubt we'll get any more than 2 players, and that's including Zuma. I'm hoping we're going to have a very active transfer deadline day. We haven't had one for a while, so that's going to be interesting. Still on school holiday, so I'll be here refreshing what's happening. Are we going to sign a player? Probably not, but that's West Ham.
I know, transfer deadline day. I'm actually off this because I'm not working this season, and I actually because when we play Norwich on Saturday, I would normally do this show Monday night, but obviously we played last night. But Monday night is the bank holiday, so I've got to do a post-match show. So I'll be doing the post-match show whilst, like you say, refreshing the sky every 5 minutes, to see if we've actually signed anybody. Although with Leicester, normally we leave it 14 seconds too late, don't we? So that's the thing. Munsey, it was just West Ham will take on Perez, swap deal with Ben Rama. I don't think they will do that somehow, Munsey, I used to love you, but I don't know now, mate. Yippee, Leicester back to normal mid-table. Yeah, we're 12th. Sack Rodgers. Rodgers out. Trust the process. Get somebody else.
Trust the process.
Yes, it's two games in. Let's not. I mean, that's probably what actually kept me calm, was the fact that it was 2 games in. How I'll feel if we don't beat Norwich, that might be another thing. But Jake, thanks so much for coming on, and say well done for last night. Your team totally deserved it. You were the better team. Credit where credit is due. Make the most of it, because we'll see when we. Actually, I'm not going to say anything because you did the double over us last season. So
we are very swiftly becoming your bogey team.
You are our bogey team, I think. It was only 2 seasons ago, though, that we actually did the double over you. So let's not get too carried away. But hey, mate, thanks very much for coming on. I say,
thanks
well
for coming
done.
On my show as well.
You're welcome. Enjoy it. You're top of the league. Make the most of it, mate. Enjoy it. And just again, give your channel a shout out. It is in the links below in YouTube. There's a link they can click on, but give it a shout out.
West Ham Unofficial on YouTube. I just seen it. It is in the description. West Ham Unofficial on YouTube. Type it into the search bar or click the link in the description down below. Correct. It would be greatly appreciated if you could subscribe. Of course, I had Chris on the show a couple of nights ago where he was going 1, 2, 3, 1 to Leicester, and now I'm saying a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1 to West Ham United. Come on, you Irons!
I hate you.
Sorry. I couldn't resist it.
No, to be honest with you, mate, go for it, because I would be doing exactly the same to you. But hey, good luck for the rest of the season, except when you play Leicester. Hope you fall at the first hurdle in the Europa League. Draw for the Europa League.
I look forward to seeing you later on in the season.
Yes. If not just for the Premier League, maybe in a Europa League final. Although, having said that, I could probably see Man United dropping out the Champions League again and then failing in the Europa League as well, Munsey. So, anyway, thanks very much, mate. All the best.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Thanks to Jake for coming on there. Great guy. Knows his stuff. Honestly, makes me feel old. I'm old enough to be his granddad. And that's just after last night. No, I'm 21, but after last night, this is what it does to you. This is what supporting Leicester does to you. Guys, thanks very much. Munsey, no way. James, I think the 1, 2, 3, 4 was the number of touches we had. It certainly wasn't even the number of goal attempts we had. Hey, Jake, you're welcome, mate. Good luck with the channel. So the link there, get over and give us subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe to ourselves if you want. If you want to catch up on this, obviously it will be on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube or you're not on YouTube, get over to YouTube, tweet me buttons, push me knobs, and give me a subscribe, and I would be forever grateful. And if you want to listen back to it and not have the awful thing of having to look at me, which is a bonus, isn't it, really? You can catch us on any of the above podcast platforms: Amazon, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google, Podcast Addict, and Anchor, just to name 6. And we will be there, this will be up there later on tonight. Tomorrow, I'm back. 2 shows tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm doing sloppy seconds. Hey, my wife didn't know I could do 2 in a night. Maybe it's because we split up, that's why. 7 o'clock, we're talking to Talk Sports' very own and Leicester's very own Jeff Peters. He's a Talk Sport presenter, of course, and he's also a huge Leicester fan. Used to cover Leicester with local radio. So we're getting Jeff Peters on, see what he thought about the game last night. And then at 9:30 tomorrow night, I'm not Terry, I'll explain in a minute. 9:30 tomorrow night, we've got the prediction show. Me and Brad, and our guest this week is, you saw her pop up earlier, Miss Melina, who is an Arsenal fan. That's it, guys. Just think, I'm not Terry. I'm not on Jake's channel. I am on another channel, which and I can't think who it is, but I will. Let me have a look here. It's another West Ham channel. And I've no idea what it is, bless him. Here we go. Let's have a look. Forged from Iron. I'll be on Forged from Iron in about 3 minutes' time. So you can catch me over there. 7 o'clock tomorrow, 9:30 tomorrow. We will be back. Please join us then. Pop over to Forged from the Iron if you are nothing to do for the next 20 minutes or so. And catch me. Having to go all through this again. Just think, though, guys, no matter how glad it is, we could be Arsenal fans. Maybe it's not all bad. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in, guys. Stay safe.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.